Point for Immortals here as EnVy tries to keep themselves in this best of 3 and undefeated.
We'll see if there's going to be any changes this time around. And yep, Rise taken off the table.
There you go.
Not too surprising, but same bans here for EnVy. So really worried about the Hecarim, and I wish they wouldn't ban it. I want to see it, Riv. We haven't seen it yet.
That's not the way it works.
I wish it was sometimes.
You're gonna get the Kobe curse if you ask for that. You'll never cast a Hecarim game.
No, just never. I'm just Dunzo.
Nidalee getting taken away, and so that actually doesn't go to Procxin. So we kind of see that Nidalee take away from Immortals last game, saying, "We don't want you to have that. This time we'll just ban it."
You can see the different priorities. Obviously, Immortals, first picking Nidalee this game and banning it away so that EnVy can't have it. They highly prioritize this champion. Vladimir going to stay consistent on that.
Yeah,
but the Rise, that is going to be something they do not want to let Seraph have once again, because he looked really good on it. Especially, that kind of face check fight that they did clean up, that ace they had, was a lot to do with Seraph and the damage he brought.
Yeah, so Karma pick, mid or support. Azir. I'll just take my mid, thanks. Says Pobelter. ReignOver's going to take the Rek'Sai. He'll get mainly his main right now. Mainly main. And he's going to have a fun time on that. Well, it'd be hard if Ninja's jungler now does not control their lanes. He'll be all over Ninja in the mid lane.
Yep. EnVy had me bamboozled last game, Riv, with the picks. They were swapping them around. Maybe Karma could even go top.
Can't consider anything. You have to wait now.
Yeah, I'm just going to wait and see.
That could be a mid Ezreal.
Yep. It could be. Maybe it's support. Who knows?
Gragas
Pick up a Spell Thieves.
Oh my, so much flexing. Where is the weight room? Gosh. Minute left now on Immortals here as EnVy take us for another ride with their picks and bans. Probably a jungle Gragas for Procxin there, but you never know. You never know. A few seconds here for Immortals. They've already taken their mid. They're kind of showing that they have a comp that can already fight. What are they going to round it out with?
It's hard to say. I think Aurelia is probably going to be on the table for them again. It just keeps getting picked by Huni. Why not keep taking it if you're doing so well with it? They can leave that top pick for last if they would like to do so. If they want the option of having the counter pick, because they do have last pick. They already picked their mid lane solo laner, so we'll see what is going to happen there. But so far, is it gonna be Braum? I really doubt it's going to be Jinx, but we'd see. Oh wow, okay.
Clear your doubt.
Have not seen Jinx in a while.
Neither have I.
Jinx did kind of fall out of popularity pretty heavily in the LCS, but a lot of you will remember some pretty big highlight plays.
Yeah.
Jinx can get going. Jinx gets very scary very, very fast.
WildTurtle cross-map stealing objectives with rockets.
Yeah.
For blind for no reason. Well, there's a reason.
Oh, there's a reason.
But
he wants those
he
objectives,
still
Riv.
does it.
He wants them.
But yeah, I mean, we saw the Jhin the other day, right? So a mobile AD carry, a little less immobile AD carries are coming back out. So why not a Jinx?
It's interesting. We have seen the Ashe, we have seen the Jhin. They are much more that kind of supportive role, though. They have engage, they have more utility. Jinx is straight up damage in your face, going to be pumping it out. So, if that Jinx gets going, if they can protect the Jinx and with the Braum, with the, the Azir for disengage, they have, ReignOver to kind of peel as well. If they can keep them safe, it's going to be really tough to deal with because Jinx shreds your front line, has great backline access as well with the rockets, and it's looking like it's going to be Varus mid. And
oh, that's Varus AD carry.
There you go. Yeah, well, it could be. Who knows, man?
Who knows? No, yeah, you're right, though. Varus mid.
Probably Varus mid.
Stay safe.
And I would normally say it's going to be Karma support, but it could be getting mixed around and stuff. So we'll see if Karma is actually perhaps even going to go top lane, do something weird like that. But I would expect it to be support. Seraph, though, has it, so I mean, it certainly can be something where they do mix it up for us again.
Maybe Hakuho on the utility this time, more safety for the team. Seraph's going to be on that Trundle, trying to be a beast. But again, up against something, well, I guess he could on Huni's Aurelia steal the stats once they had the chance, but now it's going to be against the Lissandra. A lot of AP coming from this team on the side of Immortals, so they will be looking to crush these fights.
And I think this is Huni's first game on Lissandra, this split. Seraph has actually played it already himself, so he is familiar with the champion. Should not be taken off guard by that. As far as matchups go, though, obviously as Trundle, you like to bully those kind of melee champions. You can get up, your Q steals AD, you're able to hold them by you. Lissandra can poke away, can be very much of a nuisance, but it's the same worry. If Trundle gets ahead, we'll just run you down on Lissandra. You're not able to take a straight up fight. You need to kind of poke at him, harass him, and see what they can do with that.
Much more interested to see how this one plays out in time and the way Immortals goes. They don't have the same sustain they had last time, so they can't always stay out there. There's going to be a lot going into this one. Pull out your phones, I should say. Put them out, don't put them out. And update those votes. Use hashtag EnVyWin or hashtag IMTWin. Put your tweets in at LOL eSports. Show your support for the team you want to take this series. Will EnVy stay undefeated in matches? They've dropped a few games along the way, but always find victory at the end of the road in their best of threes. And this time it may be a little harder as Immortals are now up 1 game looking at match point. We're going to be on the rift for game 2, and EnVy are looking to do what they can to stay in this. They've picked somewhat of a poke comp once again. Still have that Karma Ezreal, and now they're putting the Varus in there this time.
One thing that works well with it is that the Trundle's pillar, you throw down the pillar, you poke off of that because they get very slowed by it. So you can kind of combo those two. And Immortals looking like they want to kind of do an evade, get some deep warding down. I think they're really trying to prioritize getting this vision so they can get the lane matchups they want. I definitely do not think that Jinx and Braum want to go up against Karma Ezreal. That would be brutal. So they're going to try to get the vision necessary to enable them to avoid or to match or basically just do whatever they want.
One of the things may have helped EnVy in the beginning, just keep even at least for the Immortals, was that lane swap. They were able to do everything up to about 15 minutes. By 25, we kind of saw Immortals up at the 2nd tier, and that's when they made their face check mistake.
Immortals is actually being pretty sneaky here, and they're hanging around. Most people will expect them to evade, but Procxin, very smart, does check it out, knows the possibility is there that Immortals has not left, and still actually waiting around. So I guess they want to try to steal this side of the jungle, then go straight top lane. Interested to see what the kind of follow-up to this start is going to be, though, for Immortals. What exactly are they trying to do here? It's looking like EnVy knows what's up and is going to match.
Full team invade for full team invade.
Interesting.
I like it.
They're going to take away all parts of each other's jungles.
This kind of breaks the early dynamic, though. Teams go into scrims, kind of play it out, try to find their strengths. May not restart as much as they used to, kind of saying, all right, that didn't go the way we want, but this is what kind of breaks the mold. You figure out which team can come out of this better. Usually it's just the camps, and then they go back to laning, and you're left almost unsatisfied. But we'll see if they can pull anything off crazy here.
I think it is just going to be the standard lane swap.
Yeah,
we'll see that trade of top lane turrets, but an interesting take on it. You know, both teams going for a 4-man invade. It was actually reacted to by EnVy, so they're able to take away the opponent's jungle, and very even start here so far.
So to the turrets we go, seeing some of the starts. Not too much of a change from last game on what people are playing here.
One thing to remember, though, Jinx very fast at killing turrets. You do have that
we haven't
passive,
seen her in a while. That's
you
true.
speed up the longer you shoot with your minigun for that Q passive, and it's going to be faster and faster, and you do a lot of damage to turrets.
Yep.
Always excels at that, and if you get excited in team fights, you get that reset. You can run people down very quickly.
Usually we see the kind of Tristana answer to that, but I don't know if that's in Laud's kind of bookcase right now for champions to be played. Still again to this Ezreal for him.
It's going to be pretty frightening for EnVy if you go late against an Azir Jinx. They have to be aware of that. And
especially with a bunch of squishies.
Yeah, the late game scaling is nuts. And actually, wow, that's not something you see every day. Laud is going to take half the gold from that turret. It's almost always fully gifted over to the top laner, and I'm not sure if they're just kind of miscalculated the amount of damage needed, so he had to stay around or what. But Seraph does not get the full amount of gold there. Huni does, so a nice little advantage for him, and that's usually kind of the way that you recoup the disadvantage your top laner has. You give them the solo goal on the turrets because they're not getting any farm.
It's interesting because usually a few times we'd see Immortals kind of hug the turret with each other and then just give Huni the massive waves that they're able to freeze for him. So switching it up from game to game, or maybe just not getting out of the way in time. 4 minutes on the clock right now as things are quiet on the home front with a turret down on each side. Oh, missed it. Unfortunate. Don't miss another. Oh, Pobelter's actually kind of getting the better of Ninja here. Already got him a wave down. That's pretty annoying early game against Azir soldiers.
Good trade, though,
as I say. Ninja's he's always one willing to go aggressive, take a turret shot early game if he has to flash forward and get the kill. Can't put anything by this guy, and they're actually not going to allow Procxin in either, just to shuffle away, and the flash still held by Pobelter.
Yeah, Adrian gets a little bit of a whiff there. He's not going to be able to go for that, although I'm sure he'd love to stop the base. You get pillared into that turret, it would be a little bit awkward.
Yeah. But I thought he didn't have flash. See what happens.
holding his own so far here in the mid lane. Going to be shoving in Pobelter. He knows his jungler is around, so he has a little bit of a safety net, but at the same time, Rek'Sai is burrowing his way over here. I mean, ReignOver going to make his first appearance in the mid lane. Ninja's up really far, and now Gragas is nowhere to be seen.
Oh, I was going to say he's got the top path to run out of, and then he kind of just started turning down. Does have to use ghosts, keep safe. They have knowledge of ReignOver as well, so we see that Procxin's going to try to counter that top side. Turrets dropped on both as well once again. Actually, a little bit later here for Envy, so we'll see if Immortals can get any wards down, give themselves a small advantage with the time they have.
Yep, Immortals.
The dragon.
Good to be able to grab the dragon, and guess what? It's that water dragon once again. Very powerful early game, and allows you to have that sustain that you do so desire. It's not as big of a deal with this comp as this previous one, because ReignOver doesn't have any mana, doesn't really care about that. Adrian on the Braum is not really having mana issues, and those were the two key guys that were able to get the most out of it, the Nami and the Nidalee from last game. So it's very, very nice, but it's not the end of the world giving that over, I think, against this team comp for Envy.
Slowly making sure, trying to make sure that lane pushes against them a little bit. Seraph reeling them in.
Look at the farm difference already, though. Immortals has actually handled the early waves a lot better. They didn't get the bounce that they wanted, Envy didn't, rather, in the bot lane. So the wave was actually pushing towards Huni, so he's picked up more CS than they would like, and as a result, he's up pretty significantly. You know, we'll see if Seraph can kind of set up a freeze for himself, because he did get behind early last game as well, but was able to set up that freeze and pick up the farm and close the gap that way. So he's going to need to do so, because 10 CS to 30, pretty brutal.
And they cannot match up. A lot of times you'll see Huni just take a small advantage in that CS, beating his opponent with kind of wave control. He gets that bit of extra gold 1 item up, and he takes control of the lane.
It's also a scary situation where if you get too far behind in just experience, you can't actually contest the waves. You have to wait for it to push your turret. And then if you get dove or pushed off of it, you can never recoup that. And that's, you know, a devastating situation, because Trundle is picked for that 1v1 prowess, for the slow pushing. And as you can see, it's level 5, level 3 right now. So Seraph actually just has to kind of sit around. He has to play very carefully. And because of that, we have Procxin making his way down to the bot lane, knowing, you know, Seraph needs some help.
We saw Huni kind of relegated to this on Aurelia last game, running around, clearing, helping get camps until the team was able to find a mistake by Envy. Hopefully they can find a way to catapult Seraph back into this one. He's just farming away in the bot lane right now. We'll probably expect him to probably be seeing him do that.
Oh, Procxin could actually be in trouble. ReignOver has ulted over here, and they were trying to steal the blue away again.
Oh, Ninja forced the flash. He knew the path he had taken was going to be a flash exit. Unfortunate there. So Ninja still trying to find an opening here, but Immortals seem to be one step ahead of everything.
Yeah, clever by ReignOver. He had already had the tunnel set up, so at the beginning of the game, they traded blues. So ReignOver goes, secures the blue for his mid laner, ults back over to his own blue, forces the flash from Ninja, and means that Ninja will not get the blue. Procxin had to take it, sure he didn't die, but it's a summoner, and it's taking it off the person you wanted on. So smart stuff from him.
Teleport to the mid lane. They're going to have enough to get this. Quite a few resources to be brought here. Top lane's push, bottom lane's cross mid, so it looks like they'll be actually all right to stay here for quite some time. Lod towards the top lane as they try to get him more farmed, and that may give Immortals the time they need with this turret. Ninja's trying to do his damnedest to push them off. There's the chain of corruptions. The ult pushes Adrian back, but he's quickly out with a stand beside me. And then he brings up the unbreakable, but it's still going to be Huni that goes down in the end from that Ninja arrow.
Yeah, I think he got tagged by an arrow right at the end. Nice job by Envy, holding strong at their turret. It looked like they were going to have to give it up, but Ninja drops the ult, hits everyone, lands a couple piercing arrows there. So really nice stuff and a good advantage for him.
Ninja and Hakuho kind of holding strong as too. That tether really kind of made Immortals think twice about the engage.
Yeah, the bot lane too is setting up nicely for Seraph to get that freeze. We'll see if he can hold it. This is exactly what Envy wants, but Immortals is not willing to stop. They're going for this turret.
A great job of holding it. The true shot barrage just under the chins of Immortals as both lanes are being pushed. They're going to have to start to respect those side waves. Still got a little bit of work for Seraph to do here, and he doesn't have too many items to get that wave pushed up, so his is slow going, but Law definitely going to create pressure soon here. As Immortals,
they're committing so much for this turret. They actually really want to get out of this situation. They want to be able to crack open the jungle. They don't want to have Pobelter stuck, but Laud is the one who's going to get collapsed on, and I see no way out for him.
Like, don't worry, guys. I have relieved mid-turret pressure. It's okay.
Remember me.
Remember me. You will go down. Oh, they're going to give it to Huni. Oh, come on. You got to clean up your food, Huni. Don't play with it. Oh, Turtle with the KS. Nicely done. Missed one. You only get one chance. If you miss it, it's his. 10 minutes on the clock coming up right now, and that's going to actually be good for Turtle. He's been farming away the coal. Pretty far from being stacked up, but a kill in the middle of that does not hurt Jinx, since she's kind of just sitting in that power trough right now, waiting to get big.
Certainly doesn't. You want to escalate that scaling, get it faster and faster to that point where Jinx is going to become really strong, which is, you know, the 2 items, 3 items. You have to kind of ramp up pretty heavily on this champion before it becomes really fearsome.
Let's see how ReignOver creates the pressure. Ults back out with Void Rush. Oh, Ninja! A little too far forward, giving that turret too much love. It didn't give him anything. Maybe a few minion wave help, but he goes down in the end. Immortals is going to look to stand tall here. Adrian coming through the back line, and they have Turtle to the top side. So this is what they tried to activate last game when they got caught on the face check. Immortals is going to freely be able to go from mid to top this time.
Yeah, such a good job by Immortals. They know Seraph is trying to farm it up for himself, but they're losing a lot to gift Seraph this farm. I mean, they lose their mid laner, they lose the mid turret. Now they're going to lose top lane tier 2 as well, and this is kind of getting bad for Envy already. See if they can chase anyone down here. Immortals has some pretty low health bars.
Hakuho looking, trying to get a shield Q in. Ooh, there it is. Kill onto Adrian. Another kill coming up as they pick up the stragglers. So good speed by Envy, showing that they do have that catch-up potential. But Immortals are just going to be able to step back, use that Ocean Drake, get back into the game here. Seraph, it took them quite a while to get that far.
And thankfully for them, they at least get a couple kills. Immortals, you know, they are really pushing the issue, trying to get these turrets, and it's still early game, right? They don't have a lot of health, they don't have a lot of items, so it's risky to do this. Speaking of risks, though, Envy is actually trying to go for this. They have 4 men here, but this does actually a lot of damage. It's going to take them some time to kill this off, and Rek'Sai is here. This is way too risky for them, I think.
Envy loves that. That's what they thrive on, is risk. They continue to go over. They did the Baron last game. This time, they play it a bit smarter and pull off before they really get themselves engaged into that area of fog of war. But Immortals also gets the win on that as well. No Rift Herald going over to the side of Envy. They can start to get these lanes.
Yeah, they stop the Herald. They lose the Jinx flash, though. And a really nice block there by Adrian on the Jinx ult, or rather on that Ezreal ult. You can see Immortals, they get the turret, but they're getting poked very heavily to do it. And this is the kind of the chase down potential that they have. They have a lot of movement. They have a lot of catch with the Ezreal, with that Karma shield, and even body slam from Gragas. So a lot of mobility, a lot of chase down, a lot of poke. That's what Envy is going to want to do. They're going to try to kite back, disengage, and then chase you down when you get too low. That's the game plan for them this time.
Uncontested Mountain. Shows what Envy really kind of favoring at this point, knowing that a fight wouldn't go too well against an Azir, against a Jinx, and a Lissandra, so they're going to stay away from that.
The trade they're making is for Seraph. Look at Seraph's farm now. Remember, he was really behind, and they're gifting him everything, basically. You know, Seraph is the shot caller. He's saying, let me carry the game, give me the advantage, and now the pressure is going to be on him to do that because they've given up 2 dragons. They've given up, you know, a 2-turret disadvantage so that they can get the Trundle ahead. So if Trundle is not now effective in the split push, then they have really kind of made the wrong call. But that is the bet they're making. They're saying Seraph will be able to out-carry Huni. He will be able to carve out an advantage in this game.
Lucky for him, he does have ReignOver. He can take a bite out of a Subjugate, kind of get those stats that he's looking for. He wouldn't get from Lissandra, but it's all kind of conditional then in the fight, right? You're not going to be toe-to-toe with your target. You're going to be looking for ReignOver, diving your back line, and then have to get to the other side. Going to be tough. We knew that for Envy coming into Immortals here. One of the best statistical seasons coming out of the spring split, and they may not be able to do that again, but they're definitely going to put up the same amount of pressure to each team they play, and most likely be at the top of the list at the end of the season, as most people would expect. We're going to see if Envy is one of those teams, though, here in the summer split, coming out very strong. Kind of one of those rosters you wouldn't think they're going to synergize very well, or you kind of see it on paper, and you're like, yeah, they could grow to be great, but they kind of started right out of the gates. Very strong.
Rift Herald, though, going over to Immortals, and they're going to leave it. So I have to think that's, I don't know who, okay, wow, okay, Turtle's actually going to take it. ReignOver should have taken that. That's actually almost worthless on WildTurtle because he's never going to be alone, so he's not actually going to get much of that buff. Worthless is maybe an exaggeration, but I think that it's a lot better on the jungler who actually is going to spend some more time alone if top laner is not going to make the rotation. Either way, they do at least deny the Rift Herald from their opponents, and Turtle will have that proc damage for a little bit more.
Maybe this is why they picked Jinx. We're about to see something we've never seen.
Some magic, the split pushing Jinx. We'll see how that works out.
It's gonna be
probably not so hot against the Trundle.
Get out there, get the work done. Turtle can do it.
Yeah, another thing for EnVy, they have safe wave clear. You know, with Ninja, with Vlad, they're kind of sitting back. Even Gragas is a pretty solid wave clear jungler. They're going to try to split push this out, it looks like. Seraph is a guy who probably, just looking across the team, you know, who can actually answer him in the 1v1? I don't think that there's really anyone who can stand up 1v1 to a Trundle in this game. And Lissandra, especially as the game goes further and further forward, it's going to be harder for her to deal with the Trundle.
Also, once Vlad...
Here's the TP coming in. They're looking for the flank.
That's really deep. They're going to be able to see him on the minion wave, so now they may be able to kind of reroute the way they're going. They say, wait, they actually might have seen him quite late. EnVy turns around as soon as Immortals is on their heels, and that's going to be Lot immediately, usually in the back line in great positioning. Now they're going to keep going. Adrian goes down, and they're looking for the other side as Turtle fires off the ultimate. Seraph takes it to the face and still has quite a bit of HP as it looks like EnVy is able to disengage in a 1-1. The soldier attack is going to be there. The flash forward from Pobelter to secure one more kill.
Yeah, that was a very forced engage from Immortals. They come out on top 2-1. But imagine if Vlad had been able to survive there. He had his flash. If he'd been able to get away a little bit longer, could have been pretty bad for Immortals. But they make the call, and they make it work.
What a teleport from Huni. Really cutting them off in that one. Everybody in Immortals full force for that fight, and it showed. 4-4. Immortals able to win these fights on the right side of the map. We've seen EnVy win a bunch. They're in very good positioning, but it seems like Immortals has put themselves in a spot where when those fights are lost by Immortals, they don't lose very much. Immortals wins a fight, they will take something right after it. Usually the case, and usually the reason they're able to close out games so fast. See how they set up the mid lane here. They're quickly able to get back and try to defend.
Yeah, they are in position. Taking those turrets, they're so good at it. Look at that wave clear from Turtle. The Hurricane Rockets just decimates that minion wave very, very quickly.
A little bit of a breather here. Immortals knows with Huni top, that teleport down. They just do what they can without expending too much to protect these turrets.
Immortals hasn't all had a chance to base as well. You know, Turtle hasn't spent any money, so they're kind of trying to force him to stick around. Rek'Sai has not been on the base either. They want to try to make him stay there, see if they can get some damage on the turret, but it's looking like it's not going to happen, and they want Seraph in the side lane picking this up.
Again. It's like right here, they recognize Lissandra's coming and turn back, but Immortals is already there. Yeah,
and it's the flash engage onto Laud. Such good CC chain. They have the flash on Burrow from ReignOver, the ulti from Adrian right after that. And Laud just gets fully CC chain, no chance to actually react there. And Ninja eventually getting chased down here on the end. It was a 1-for-1 trade. If Ninja could have stayed alive, they probably could have actually held the turret too. So great job by Pobelter flashing forward, finishing up that kill, which eliminates a lot of EnVy's wave clear.
A blind stab. He gets him.
Blind stab is the deadliest, or something like that.
2K gold lead for Immortals, but we are all tied up. They always find a way to get their lead when they consecutively control your towers, the objectives, and really how the map is working at the time in the game. 18 minutes, and they're already finding ways inside EnVy's jungle, ways to make teleport plays happen from on EnVy's side of the map. Immortals knows they have the lead, and they will not let go.
They certainly do have the lead. That said, EnVy is staying close as far as farm. They're even in kills, and there's a lot more standing gold on the map for them. So if they can win a team fight, clean up some turrets, they can be right back in it or even ahead in gold. So they're going to look to do this, and they're going to look to continue having Seraph split pushing. You know, he's up in the top lane. He has TP. Huni does not, so they have this advantage, trying to go for the minion waves. But at the same time, are they just going to give away another dragon?
This is where it kind of gets tough.
Yeah, it's 3 straight and double
another mountain. Yep.
It means that Baron is going to be so easy for this team. With Azir and Jinx, they will slaughter the Baron so fast.
There's a definite kind of lack of gain for what EnVy is trying to do to the amount of game Immortals is getting for the small things that they're doing.
Yeah, it's not even a trade, right? They're not even picking up turrets. Exactly. They're holding everything.
Procxin a little too far forward as Hakuho is trying to get the tether to connect. And they're able to kind of kite this one out with a bit of poke to deter Immortals. Iceborne's now finished up here for Laud. Maybe they can stop some of these fights from getting onto all the members that are priority here for EnVy. Now they start the poke game. And I guess at the poke game, unless they set up a dragon first, you're almost forced to give it up, especially since we said with Seraph pushing all the time.
Yeah, Immortals has a lot of hard engaged, you know, a lot of kind of point and clicks. You see they have the lockdown from Huni, you know, pop up from Adrian, and they have, you know, another knock up as well from ReignOver. So a lot of CC, if you get caught by one, you're probably going to get chained down, as we saw that happen to Laud. But oh, nice ulti in, and ReignOver's actually rooted.
Very fast flash from ReignOver could keep him alive. True Shot Barrage doesn't kill him. Seraph has to subjugate, gets himself tanky enough that he does not go down. Seraph and ReignOver out of the fight. We can see the tankiest members right there. That's going to be the member that Seraph needs each time to stay alive.
A really close call for both ReignOver and Seraph. They end up trading flash for flash, but ReignOver with that ultimate can be right back out onto the map. And
That's true.
I have to feel like Seraph has just not been getting enough on this Trundle so far this game. You know, he's not been able to actually, you know, pressure the turrets. He's not been able to get the deep vision that he needs to feel comfortable split pushing.
I wonder if he does get comfortable in the bot lane, that pink ward comes into play at all with the teleport. It's been sitting down there for quite some time. It could really be an in for Immortals once they need it. Right now, the love of the game is on the top side of the map as they try to clear out what could be around Baron. They know they can force the fight. They've been doing it all the time at Dragon, and EnVy can't really step up. But they have to be careful of the poke coming out of the jungle if they do so. So warding up efficiently.
They're doing a
Infernal
good job
Drake
with
as
it.
well. That'll be number 4 for them. Just damage. They're getting a really good RNG on the Drake this game.
Doing really well for themselves.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. So far, you know, the double mount in and of itself is fine, as long as you can actually defend the objectives. But Immortals are going straight to it, and we'll see the Azir Jinx just doing it over the wall. And they do know that it's happening now, but can they actually respond in time?
So this is where the
Here they
poke
come.
comes in. Don't initiate too much. The team is a poke. Procxin goes in to force them out, kind of give them the scare tactic. Is it enough, though? Huni with the TP in behind everybody. Hakuho is going to take a cue to the face. There's the double kill for Huni, and they're looking for Laud. Procxin there with him, and this may be the chase out. Laud would probably be the last one. His flash
Huni's
is up.
behind him. They're going to get caught, too.
He's waiting. The claw in, and it's going to be the W onto Procxin. They're still going for Laud, though. That's the Emperor's Divide, and it does just enough to pull EnVy outside their base, and the single check was enough for all of EnVy to go down in the resulting chase.
I think this is going to be the straw that broke Camel's back. I mean, Seraph bailed out. He canceled his TP. He gets nothing in the bot lane. Joins the party way too late now. Not that he could have really done anything in that fight. It's just Ninja went down so fast.
Ninja went down fast. Procxin body slamming in like that almost left the back line completely open behind him. And he was forced to route himself through the top side where Laud was, so we just saw Hakuho and Ninja get crushed.
Seraph has been
See
trying,
it again
but
right here.
Here is the TP. You can see it pinged out. Huni coming in from behind straight onto Ninja right there. He's able to just flash over, lands the full combo, deletes him, and picks up a nice double kill for himself, and then Huni continues the chase. He has the Zonias still available. He's going to be able to get in here, and as we saw, lock up a couple more for Immortals, leading to that Baron.
And then Pobelter comes in right back. Gets himself a kill as well. Sharing in the wealth. Everybody getting a little bit of love there on the side of Immortals. You can see kills across the board, except for ReignOver and Adrian. Good guy jungle and support right now. 8-4. And it's a 6,000 gold lead. Immortals has kind of been able to open the book that is EnVy, figure out what their style is, and start to dissect it.
It's kind of tough. You usually see people on Varus take cleanse for reasons like this against champions like Lissandra because you're so susceptible to that lockdown, but Ninja not electing to do it. Not sure it would have even saved him there because he died so fast, but if they get on top of him, Immortals just takes him out so quick, and now how do you stop this siege? It's kind of just back to the same situation that we had last game when Immortals did get that Baron, where Jinx and Azir are going to be raining down these turrets, taking them down very quickly.
Yep. Only stronger at this point as well. Huni, Zonias is up as well for Pobelter, so they can do something crazy and catch EnVy off guard if they wish. It's just Laud on the front line, trying to charge himself up, trying to get those Miramana shots on to the rest of the team. Pobelter taking some good damage. The backline of Immortals is quite hurt here. If EnVy can get the kills to go down, there's the first one on Pobelter. ReignOver knocks up Seraph, but they do slay Huni as well, and Immortals biting off a little more than they can chew for that.
Yeah, huge overcommitment there from Immortals, and EnVy going to be able to pick up a couple easy kills, land a huge amount of poke on them, and then Huni kind of just decided to go in anyway. He went over the wall, and
I don't think you saw how hurt these guys in the back.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, Ninja and Blob were landing poke after poke, and Huni then takes the turret aggro. He's super low, and everyone on Immortals just has to scatter, but it's too little too late.
Yep.
And Huni, with a big overcommitment, kind of just sealed their fate. As soon as he went over the wall, they knew they had to go for the fight because he did not have his flash.
3v2 in the mid. A few more shots. Oh, they're taking aggro from hitting. Getting some burns and some extra attacks. Oh, they take a few turret shots, but they're well off to get out.
This dragon, that's a pretty nice turn for them, picking up the turret, picking up a dragon, but Immortals wants to contest. Here comes ReignOver. We'll see if he can steal it.
Oh, he does not. That's going to be Procxin's. Is there a resulting fight? There's the ultimate up for WildTurtle. They may have some chase potential here, but it looks like Pobelter is actually too far off. I thought I saw his coin over at the red
them
buff.
a lot. They could be in some trouble as Adrian's going to catch up.
They did clear that pink ward out that was down here. That could have been huge coming in. And we'll see them continuously, slowly walk out. Seraph saying, team, give me some help. Huni does make it in. That's going to be Procxin that's hit up. He's pretty tanky, and he's able to body slam out. We return to the scene of the last crime, and it looks like Immortals is going to start throwing down some kills of their own. 2 members of Envy drop just like that. We just saw 2 of the Immortals go down. They come back, hit the batting order again, and get 2 of their own.
Yeah, look at the top lane wave as well. Immortals going to go run straight up there. Envy's kind of a bit of desperation mode here. They need to clear the waves as fast as possible. If they can't clear out that wave, they will not be able to defend the turret, and Adrian's already blocking.
Oh, Seraph. Oh my God, Seraph is going to take out Turtle. The rest of the team goes to the back for Envy, and I think they've made a huge mistake on the side of Immortals. The Q's hit coming in from Lod. They can't finish that kill, and everybody from Immortals is limping away. If they can make it, those members fall, and the tankiest left alive of ReignOver and Adrian.
Really uncharacteristic mistakes from Immortals. Huge.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Bot and top.
Twice in a row. Big overcommitments. Looking a little bit not on the same page there. Half the team tries to dive. A turtle gets taken out in the back, and then they collapse. And yeah, sure, they picked up the kill on Ninja, but Huni is overcommitting big time, and it's kind of one of those trends that he does have, where if he makes a mistake, he tries to make up for it. And Huni is going to go deep. And
it's like nobody even looks at Seraph.
Yeah, he's just able to kill Turtle for free, and now it's all of Immortals behind enemy lines, very low, no way to escape here, and pretty easy cleanup for Envy, but thankfully for Immortals, you know, the Baron is not active. There's nothing really for them to take off the map right now, but they do buy themselves some time, they pick up some gold, and they close the gap.
That's one of those fights where I think you kind of hear from the team, all right, guys, all right, we're ahead. Let's keep it that way, because we're getting a little hyphy on the engages.
Yeah, everyone kind of just jumped past Turtle, and then he's just left there with the Trundle, and it's like, team, hello? Where's the team at?
Next Drake is going to be Infernal. That will for sure be coming up before we get the Elder Drake. He's still some time away. And the gold gap closed from 6 now to 4. Still quite a bit in favor of Immortals, and they're using that to continuously pressure inhibitor turrets. But, like you said, uncharacteristically have actually failed at 2 attempts now on their entry into Envy's base. Here it looks like they are denying all the resources they can before they do attempt that one more time. 1:20 onto Baron.
Lod actually stole that blue too. He's doing a little dance move there. He's celebrating.
Did he? Oh, I thought it was. I thought it went off on Pobelter.
No, Pobelter actually already had one. So Lod did pick that up and gonna show off with the dance moves.
Nice.
I like it. At the same time, the Seraph is scaling up. He has spent a ton of time in the side lanes, and Immortals has capitalized that at times. You know, they have been able to get kills before Seraph can join the team, but he is still scaling, and if it does come up to a straight-on 1v1, he should be able to smash Huni. So the longer that goes on, the more chances there are for him to kind of get some free time on a turret, maybe make something happen, because they put a lot of eggs in the Seraph basket, and it has yet to pay off.
It has been helping that with those calls, they can stay alive while Seraph is kind of pushing the sides. They may be losing these dragons, they may be losing some turrets, but they feel pretty damn sure that they can win this late game, that they can continuously scale up. Another comp with a Rise Ezreal from the first game, another comp now with that Ninja, with our, Varus Ezreal coming in on this one. So still looking to get those Muramanas finished on the side of Ninja as a small engage in the mid lane. Turtle able to sit in the back with rockets. Almost taking down Seraph to half health, but he'll easily be able to regen up now as we're going to get Baron in 5. We're going to see how these teams work around it. Again, ReignOver already over the backside of the ball.
Adrian had a little bit of an oopsie there, kind of came in, put the Unbreakable the wrong way, took the damage, had to flash out. but not the end of the world. Still, it's nice for Envy to take those cooldowns away from Adrian. You know, takes away some of the engage potential, certainly, and see if they can capitalize on that. Doing well for themselves, though, have one Infernal Dragon. If they can pick up their second, it would be a big takeaway from Immortals, and getting double Infernal over your opponents really does kind of secure you a nice advantage in the late game.
Poke team, it's gonna be nice.
Oh yeah,
Real good.
love that AD.
Immortals saying, all right, the waves are kind of stuck at river here. We need to get these farther up. I'm gonna go ahead and push down mid lane. 1 minute on that Infernal. 30 minutes on the clock. It means we are gonna get a pretty explosive fight. Summoners up on both sides here if these teams meet in an engage. It doesn't look like it's gonna be just yet. Seraph is actually backing from that bot lane as the Sun Disc is thrown down for Immortals Pobelter.
3 completed items now on Turtle. He's 3-1-3, has a ton of CS. Very threatening Jinx. If he can actually, get some shots off on key targets, really, if he hits Ninja, Laud, or Hakuho and gets a crit, they are going to be going down in a hurry, so they have to be careful. But Immortals trying to seek the Baron and could get caught here. This is risky.
Oh, he
Very
says,
risky.
no, you can't. Procxin makes it over the wall. They're looking at 4,300
Huge
on
ult for
Baron.
Ninja.
Can they get into this one, though? You see Huni from the backside. He throws the ult down onto Ninja to lock him down. There's the cleanse coming out. He gets to a safe spot, dodging the rocket, and they are now fighting Procxin.
Seraph can
towards
clean
the
up. They're
parapet.
so low.
Seraph coming in now. Cannot get over the Braum ultimate. Glacial Fissure disengages the fight. They can't get that kill over onto Huni, but Immortals staying in these fights till their last breath to make sure they can do what they can do to get that Baron down. Does not happen. Envy stops it, but man, was that a pretty interesting way Immortals tried to start that one off with the divide, the chompers, and then trying to still hit the resulting fight.
Yeah, that was so close to being a disaster for Immortals, though. If 1 or 2 more went down, they were so low that would have been the Baron for Envy, and now Laud sneaking away the Dragon. That is huge for them. Ninja came up massive for the team, I have to say. A great ult, hitting 4 or 5 of the members, and we're going to get a replay of this. So Pobelter uses the ult just for the disengage, trying to buy time, but the Baron is still too healthy. They make the call to pull off. Look at that ult, nails 4, fantastic stuff from Ninja. And although Huni comes in with the big engage on the backside, Hakuho with his dying breath shields up Ninja. He's able to sidestep the rocket, and now it's a full HP Seraph. You're all very low on health. How do you deal with the Trundle? The answer is you do not, so Immortals gets out of there.
And a good choice as well.
Very good choice.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, but that was scary. I mean, Pobelter and Huni were a stiff breeze away from going over, and had they fallen down, that could have been massive for Envy, but playing it close to Immortals once again, these guys are here to compete, and I have to say, most people, myself included, were expecting this to be a pretty heavy one-sided series for Immortals. People were saying, yeah, Envy has not faced the top of the competition yet. Immortals are going to kind of smack them around. Game 1 very close. Game 2, Envy gets behind, but they're right back in it. Have 2 Infernal Dragons for themselves, and this one is anyone's game.
Definitely standing toe-to-toe in the fights. Something you'll see in a lot of the Reddit threads after this is the positioning, the way that Envy takes their fights towards that end game. We thought it would really be all about Immortals here with this composition they have, but the positioning, the remembering, if you say that in a sense, it's to stay in the poke formation and not just go in. We saw what happened when Procxin went in past the team. Didn't work out.
Oh yeah, if you kind of mess up your positioning as this poke squad, you get hard engaged upon, you get split up, it's going to fall apart very, very quickly. Envy has to be cognizant of where Huni is at all times, where ReignOver is at all times.
So what do we get now? Azael here. Seraph's finally done with that split push. They're ready to get on the team. Huni throws down the Zanyas. That's one of his invincibilities out the door. And one they do want. Procxin's going to be going forward. Adrian takes the initial brunt of the damage. Also stopping the true shot
still
barrage.
has his ult. Immortals have to be careful.
No teleport for Huni. Seraph does have his, but he's already on the screen. They're not going to see him coming out from anywhere in the fog of war. And it doesn't look like Immortals wants this straight up fight right away.
Yeah, and Procxin decides to hold that ult, doesn't want to commit it to a support, and they want to look for the kind of better fight later on. We'll see if they can get it, but poking out Huni there, they force his Zonias, they're able to kind of chase them and push them back, and Immortals is struggling to find a way in. They need the flashes, they need the flanks to actually get these engages, because otherwise Ninja and Laud are constantly poking away your team, and Immortals does not have the luxury of a couple healers this game. They can't just heal it right back up. They have to base, they have to reset.
feel like it could be very scary, and that sliver of cooldown Huni has on his teleport. There's 2 wards right on the blue, 1 in the Wolf Den. Nothing on the bottom side of the map. Elder Drake gonna be 20 or 10 seconds away here.
Yeah.
So that may be a teleport they can use. They have bot lane to go on with a minion wave right now, as a new one is going to be kind of the cavalry to that. Mid lane is the pressure, but do they have the shoulder wards here? Seraph almost getting caught out from 2 on his left side.
Huni's looking for a flank. He's coming around from behind, and Immortals is going to look to fight.
If it wasn't going to be that teleport, Envy would have to have the wards to stop them from just walking in behind, and it's Huni to go in, quickly taking down Hakuho. The shields aren't there now for Envy, and they're trying to do their damnedest. Pobelter's up in the Zanyas. Laz on the backline, throwing out damage. A double kill for him. The rest of the team is in his eyes, and Turtle's going to pick one up before he gets himself killed. Actually, still alive. Now gets himself killed.
It's the ace for Envy.
Well, Seraph.
That is huge, and Huni, they forced out those Zonias in the previous fight, did not have it on this engage, couldn't stay alive, and he committed to Law, didn't take him down. Fantastic stuff from Envy. What can they pick up on the back of this? They're going to start heading over to Baron. I wonder if they can actually try to do anything here. The TP is available for Seraph, but he's not going to be up for some time. Looks like they want to try to 2-man, or at least clear out some vision.
Maybe it's that top
Maybe
turret.
just going top now. Yeah, they're going to call it off. So they're still pinging it. They want to go for this. Wow. They're going to try. They're going to try for the 2-man. We'll see if they can do it.
There was hesitation there, and Huni also has
TP.
a TP. Very good call. It's going to be the Raptor Pit TP. They have a pink ward on it, and they're going to ping it. Are they going to turn on Huni as he comes out? They got to realize the cooldowns. The rest of the team is now up. They try to delete Huni's ward. That's the only one he has, as Haku is there now to provide it. This is what Envy tried the first time, and they did not like the result of it. Immortals came out on top. Procxin's going back. Huni buying more time with the Zanyas. He also has used his ultimate, so this is all he has. Huni now gets taken out, but is it enough time for Immortals to get themselves here? It wasn't, but it did deter the Baron.
And Envy make the call to back off, to reset. This is the call that they did not make last game. Remember, they got the pick, and then they tried to force it, and they got taken down as a result. Now they make the smart call. They get Procxin heal back up, and they can reset, because Huni now has no summoners, no ult, no Zonias, and he's going to have very little effectiveness in any fight. So you set it up, you get vision, you bait it, and then Huni is going to be almost worthless in the next fight unless Immortals can delay.
Hopefully the risk is worth so many resources to stop that Baron. It would have put Envy in a very good position. Even if they had members down, you saw how bad they wanted it. Only for just looking at Procxin and Loud there. Hakuho may be on the way back up. Obviously would have had it, but...
Yeah, tough call to make for Envy. You know, there was some indecision. Should we go for it? They make the decision to do it, and it does pay off. They get the kill on Huni, so good job by them, you know, not shying away from the tough calls after last game's fiasco.
Huni just over half cooldown on that Zanyas. So a little breather here before they go in. ReignOver now getting that Thorn Mail out to make sure he can spit back some of the damage that Laud is throwing in with Ninja from the outside.
Remember, Elder now is active, and this is going to be always the threat of the trade. So if you commit to one, they can commit for the other. Immortals having the advantage in these objective rushes has double Mountain Dragon.
Ooh, one for the other. It seems like Envy is thinking, but Immortals says, all right, we'll play that game.
Here we go. Envy's going to try to bait it. That's one blue trinket down. No more are off cooldown right now, so they can get right back in the pit, and now they're going to start it up. We'll see. Do they face check? Remember, Huni has no cooldowns for this fight.
There's an easy in for Huni here on the Claw, but like you said, can't get out too well. All the ultimate is going to do is keep him alive for a little bit inside a very tough fight. Adrian's going to take the Chain of Corruptions. That is out. Procxin tries to separate Belter from the fight. WildTurtle's just on the outside. Seraph has to be careful as Procxin is also taking that damage. Ninja, nice piercing arrow across both team members. Adrian and Pobelter taking a bit of damage there. And it's kind of a stalemate. They're showing power members on the outside of the fight and not wanting the initiation. Procxin has already used that explosive task, remember, so they don't have much to bring Immortals back into their poke composition.
Procxin really blew it with that ult. He tried to knock 2 in and push Pobelter away. He wanted the perfect ultimate. Instead, all he did was knock Pobelter away, failed to knock the support and the jungler into the team, and now Immortals is on Dragon. They're going to get this Elder Drake. It looks like it's not even going to be contested, so big fumble there for Envy.
They can't dictate the mid lane either. The waves aren't really in position for them as they've kind of been scrapping back at what would have been a Baron, not kind of getting the waves in their spot. So when they do get hit like that, it hits almost harder.
Envy now needs to be careful. I think they need to make the call. Forget about Baron for the next 2 minutes. Back off. Do not fight Immortals when they have this Elder Dragon true damage, because if it's an even somewhat close fight, you will lose due to that true damage.
Exactly. That's what we've been seeing from
They're
EnVy.
gonna go for it though.
Able to put up that
Huni has no TP, he showed bot lane.
A few backstop. Okay, so here comes Pobelter as well from the bot. ReignOver is just going to be bringing himself around the outside. The fight would be big, the steal would be gigantic. And it looks like they're not going to give that 50-50 chance up, nor the fight. They're going to go ahead and allow IMT to try and kind of dictate that mid lane again. They say, all right, stalemate again. We'll take a breather and come back at it.
Yeah. So Huni shows bot lane, they make the call to try it, but I think it was a smart play to back off once ReignOver showed, and they're buying time, right? The true damage burn is only up for 2 minutes, and it's already more than halfway gone because they based after that. They've kind of fiddled around in the mid lane. Huni went bot lane to do some maintenance work, clear that up. So Immortals, although they did pick up this Elder Dragon and take away from their opponents, have not really gotten the advantages that they do want. This is the worry, though. Can they just go for the Baron? Because they can burn down the Baron exceptionally fast. They're going to go straight to it. This is double Mountain Drake plus the Elder, and it is dying ridiculously fast. It's looking like it's just gone.
Hakuho with the steal? Not today.
Holy crap, they killed that.
That is going to be Immortals now pedal to the metal wherever they want to go. They have to push some waves up, but once they get there, it is not going to be a pretty sight if EnVy cannot get the first initiation, or at least poke them down again. Yeah. We saw what happened. Immortals has already been at the inhibitors twice this game and have failed twice. Now they're going to do it with Baron and probably do it a little more, in a more secure way, I should say.
Yeah, EnVy was just not prepared for how fast Immortals could do it, and they have double Mountain Drake, and that's amplified by the Elder Dragon plus the true damage, so it just died almost instantly. Ninja was kind of just back in base, and now it's going to be tough for EnVy. They're going to have to last out a very long buff. Thankfully, the Elder Dragon buff is now expired, so it's just the Baron. They have a chance to try to wave clear.
Hopefully these Guardian Angels can provide enough kind of misfocus to what's going on and lead your eye in a different direction as they try to get their priority targets engaged on from the side of Immortals. There's one on Seraph, there's one on Procxin. They can stay for a long time in the fight.
A lot of this comes down to Ninja and Laud. They need to land poke on Pobelter because that is where it's going to stick. They have to push him out. There is 1Q, there is an ultimate, so now he's at half health. This is how they hold on in this fight. We'll see if they can do it.
Chain of Corruption onto Huni as soon as he comes out. Obviously won't take the claw back in. Procxin ultimate doesn't do too much once again. Seraph in the front line. He actually, I believe, got Mikhail's there to get himself out, and he may go down. Looking for Huni. He goes with the Zanyas as well. That's actually going to put Procxin in a bad spot as he body slams forward. They lost their turret, and they're fighting to save the inhibitor. And it looks like they've been able to stop it so far. Turtle's pretty healthy, and he can still heal back up here. And it looks like he's going to be the forefront of this fight, pushing Ninja back off. The other members of Immortals trying to get some scrap shots in without losing their lives, and they have gotten EnVy off the inhibitor enough.
So ridiculously close there. Both teams getting so low, and Ninja not able to land the last couple Qs he needed to force them back or get those kills. But still, EnVy playing that fight exceptionally close. Even with the Baron buff on Immortals, you can see they're struggling to get in, struggling to finish the game. Because although Turtle can heal this poke back up, there's nothing for Pobelter. He is that mage, he doesn't have any secondary healing. Any poke you land on him is massive in these team fights.
This is basically in Immortals' mind. They're saying, well, we're going to need a lot more minions to make this happen and a lot more lanes, which does put time on the clock for EnVy to come up with something, have the wards to actually get another face check maybe.
Yeah.
But Immortals very much in the lead, and they know how to control that.
They certainly do.
Here in game 2 for EnVy.
They're up 4K, but 43 minutes into the game. The gold lead is not what's important. It's about objective control. It's about the Baron buff and the fact that the mid lane inhib is down. A lot of key items have come in, though. Ninja now has the QSS. It's going to make him a much harder target for Huni. You start to later in the game have to go for the self ults a lot more as people pick up those QSSs and become resilient enough to kind of just live through.
So Maw built up by Laud as well, trying to keep himself healthy from all this magic damage.
Yeah, not too long on the Baron buff. EnVy just needs to clear a couple more waves here, and the Baron buff shall expire.
Yeah. Honestly, to only lose what they did off Baron, off Elder as well, they kind of saved themselves quite well. One inhibitor down without losing too many members. Say they got the best of the worst there. Here it is for the top lane. It doesn't look like much will be stopped for the inhibitor turret going down. Again, they'll probably try to fight for the inhibitor. The inhibitor oh god, that's easy. Inhibitor turret falls, and I believe there's going to be a resulting fight. Here we go. They're on to Seraph. He looks to subjugate onto ReignOver, get himself tanky.
Procxin's so deep, he went way too far.
Adrian's getting the damage down on, actually not damaged, shielding his team as we just see the rest of the backline shredding down Procxin, not able to actually get the kill. Seraph back on the front line as well. Are they able to trade the kills back onto Immortals though? Turtle doing a turtle moment, but gets himself back to safety. Flash and heal to get back to that spot. They do once again fight for the inhibitor. This time they save it. And it looks like they're going right through the uprights. You get some points for that, though.
So ridiculously close to sniping off one or maybe even two of Immortals, which would have been big. And Lod and Ninja are playing these fights so incredibly impressively. They're playing so well, landing all the poke, pushing them back out, but they're having trouble forcing Immortals like to actually die at the end of the fight. They just get them low and they can't finish them off. There's so many blinking health bars, and here we have the fight again. And I think, you know, they're trying to use the GAs here, but Procxin goes very deep. Seraph gets caught. They actually go for the ult on him. Not able to finish him off, though, because he's so tanky. He then pops the subjugate on ReignOver to heal a lot of this back up. You can see that going off right there. Yep. And now here is Procxin, and what are you doing? He is so deep in the fight. He's kind of 1v4 back there, and no chance of that really working out. He needs to be with his team, healing and staying more effective. So Seraph gonna get taken down after his GA, a lot expended, but there is Turtle getting very far forward, almost goes down too. Look at their health, they're so low, but EnVy unable to finish it. And you know, Procxin is honestly having some pretty significant mistakes in these fights, which are kind of costing the team. You can't just dive backline at this stage in the game. You know, your damage is completely irrelevant as a tank Gragas, you know, 45 minutes into the game. You need to be peeling, you need to be with your team. Unless you're gonna knock a key member in to get instantly deleted, you should be body slamming and peeling and just adding what damage you can.
Seraph is not having fun with Huni here on the top side. Subjugate goes down. Huni knows he has to respect it somewhat, but Seraph also knows he needs to help his team very quickly. He needs to get healed up and get to that lane. So this is going to give Huni time to play with that bot side. Elder is coming up in a few minutes for them.
Yeah.
So it looks like they'll be able to use that once again. I don't know if EnVy's going to be able to push out with the minion waves coming in. Top inhibitor turret, or inhibitor, did stay. But it's getting much harder for Lod on the backline, Ninja on the backline to create the same results they were in the mid game.
It really is, and with both GAs having been expended in that fight for EnVy, they're going to pack a lot less punch in the next one because they had 2 lives on both their tanks and they still barely came out even in that one.
Those are half cooldowns.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time.
Quite a while.
It's very, very long. And Baron now up in 30 seconds. Immortals wants to return back there. They want to just set it up, try to pick up Baron and rinse and repeat. They're not looking to just push in and try to force the issue. They want to secure the objectives. They know they have the double Mountain Drake that's going to continue to be effective, and they have all the vision control. So it's on EnVy to be able to respond to this. Can they actually, you know, match up and get the vision back and find the proper fight?
Yeah. You see the Lord Dominic's regard choice. Immortal reminder for Turtle, trying to cut Seraph in half, cut the rest of the team as they heal from this poke in half. Doing what he can. Turtle 6-2-4, 8-3, and 6 for Lod. ReignOver just over the wall.
Oh, so close. If Procxin actually landed that body slam, it would have interrupted the tunnel, and ReignOver with no flash could have gone down there.
Doesn't seem like what happens for Immortals. EnVy is just kind of scrapping at getting these kills, but somehow we see Immortals walk away with 10 HP here, 20 HP there.
Those are the moments where you have to ask yourself, should you have committed harder to that? Procxin had his flash. He could have actually flashed that body slam, ulted him back in, but do you make that committal? And it's a tough answer.
It leaves what now is that 50-50 smite fight up. 6,000 for the Baron. Adrian taking quite a bit of damage, even with Unbreakable up. He has to flash back, but stand beside me as well. That's one of the ults they might have been looking for. They're able to take down Adrian. Do they turn to Baron? ReignOver is still healthy enough to get himself in, even if they kind of stop attacking it.
Yeah, and Huni actually intelligently went to the mid lane, cut the minion wave out there, but it was a bad start to the fight for Immortals because Pobelter got poked out. He had to jump over the back of the wall to avoid the damage, and they're going to go straight to Baron to try to bring Immortals back in. We'll see if they can actually win the fight if Immortals does commit, and EnVy looks like they want to take the fight.
ReignOver super healed
Hakuho
already.
So low.
He doesn't take the claw in. It's still Huni on the outside. They're toying with Turtle, Pobelter, and ReignOver on the back now. Huni claws in. He's looking for his main target. That's going to be Lod. Lod gets himself out quick. The Mikhails gets him to safety, and they're trying to clean up Immortals, which is happening right now. They can get over the wall. No, they choose not to, dodging out the Mega Death Rocket. And it looks like they will go for the mid lane, trying to dictate one of the turrets of their own for the inhibitor.
Yeah, they lost their jungler, so can't commit to the Baron. Instead, they need to try to take some objectives off. They're going to try to push down mid lane, go for the inhibitor, but at the same time, they're actually trying to two-man the Baron. Turtle and ReignOver can do this very, very quickly because the Mountain Drake, they're forcing Envy off of this. But can they punish them? They need to try to catch Turtle. They need to try to kill them. Can they do it?
They have the ward. Seraph flashing over the wall, feeling like he didn't
Turtle's
have enough
hot.
time. They want the fight, and then they want the Baron. Is anybody actually going to keep the tag on it for HP? It's just a fight. It may result in the Baron, and that's ReignOver going down. Hakuho picks him up in the end with a kill from Lod as well. And it looks like they may be able to grab this one. There's no 50-50.
Oh
That's not how it happens at 50 minutes. 22-17, Envy pick up Baron.
Huge for Envy. Complete backfire on that by Immortals. They want to try to turn them around. They made the call. Let's two-man the Baron. Envy's going to push mid lane, but it does not work out. Envy make the collapse. Seraph flashes over the wall, and that's the committal that you need sometimes. They catch Turtle. They kill him. They kill ReignOver. They kill Huni. And now they have a strong foothold in this game. And here is the replay.
It's amazing to see from Envy as well. Not shy to do this again, as it was a point where they completely lost last game.
Yep. And there is Seraph just on top of Turtle. No chance for him once they're right in on him. And ReignOver trying to get out of there, but nice pillar from Seraph, denying any chance of escape. And with the Baron now, they can move over to the Elder Dragon. It's their turn to be in the driver's seat. If they pick this up, remember, they get 50% more effectiveness from the double Infernal, which is going to be massive as everyone is at 6 items. They're going to have the true damage burn. They have everything they need to potentially finish up this game. At the same time, though, you lose one fight.
Okay, you're good. Sorry, go ahead.
Same time you lose one fight, you have 2 inhibitors open. Immortals will end the game off of 1 clean fight.
Right. That's where they've always put themselves in a position.
And look at Huni. He's kind of sneaking around, potentially looking to do some sort of backdoor shenanigans.
That would be a slow backdoor.
Well, with the AP, you know, you can do it somewhat fast, but it would certainly not be ideal. But it can even be one of those things where you just cut the minion waves to deny the Baron buff, right? You just don't even have to go for the inhibitor, but you come in, you clear out the minion waves, which is kind of what he's doing. He's over by the base. We'll see what he can do. He may have to come back and defend. I think he does. He's going for the inhib, though. He's on it.
Ah! Crack
He's going to get the inhib.
Doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to get him.
Now Envy has to make a call. They need to dive or do something because they already gave up 1 hit for free. Now they're going to give up 2nd hit for free. They need to make their move now.
This is the point where you kind of see a team just coming to be, just synergizing their strats, won't be able to make what may be the right call. Right now, they think this is the right one. They've taken down inhibitor number 1 to the 2 in their base. Now, Huni doesn't have waves to work with, so his position now would be to back. His teleport is up, but does he find it? They are onto the Nexus turret. Huni is teleporting into a minion. No, onto the Nexus turret right now, showing them they need to back off, but will they? The Chain of Corruption comes out, and Huni was able to claw himself to safety. That's going to be 2 members almost. They still
Procxin saved him with the ultimate.
He gets down. He got Adrian, but ReignOver was able to get out because the Iceborne didn't do enough in the scatter, and now they're going to be trying to go in here. That's 50 to 60 seconds on one of the members. The 5v4 as Envy trying to stand tall inside Immortals base. That Nexus turret will fall. Immortals has to go for broke as Envy looks for the Nexus. Lod with his eyes focused. That's the Frozen Tomb onto Lod. He goes down immediately. The Sun Disc doing so much to help stop Envy from getting a win, and it looks like Immortals is going to be able to hold on as they hold their breath. Seraph comes back up from the GA. That's a double kill, and Pobelter to finish one off himself. The Nexus stays alive.
Split decisions there from Envy at the end. Ninja was going for the kills. The tanks were going for the Nexus. If Ninja actually just right-clicked on the Nexus there, I think they had the game. But this is now an Immortals game. I don't think that anyone's going to be up in time, so that's it. Immortals are going to take it 2-0 over Envy.
A slow stroll down the ocean breeze, and they are just going to go ahead and walk hand in hand up to the Nexus turrets on this one. ReignOver, the first one in, being the horse or the carriage as he lets the buddies in behind. Pobelter, Turtle, and ReignOver look to finish the game here. You got Huni pushing that bot wave, making sure it doesn't get into the base. You got to be safe, because this has been one crazy series. Immortals will, however, take it 2-0.
Insane finish there. 54-minute victory for Immortals. Yes, it's a 2-0, but no, it was not easy. Envy made them work for it.
You can see how relieved Immortals is after that game. I definitely feel like they're thinking we got way more of a workout than we expected coming into this series.
Yeah. A couple missteps from EnVy, a couple split calls is what cost them this game, you know. Right at the very end, Procxin goes for the ult, but he ulted into Adrian's shield, which knocked both Adrian and ReignOver back. That saved ReignOver, which ultimately led to them kind of losing that fight. And at the same time, you know, Ninja was going for the kills on Pobelter while his tanks were focusing the Nexus. A little bit of split decisions there. Had they all been focusing Nexus, perhaps they could take it down. Who knows?
The amount of times that Immortals squeezed out of those fights with less than 50 HP, less than 100, maybe even less than 10, could have been the times when EnVy completely took the game back over. And even without those times of having those members of Immortals drop, EnVy played an amazing game and kept themselves in it for a very long time.
We have to remember, this game started with Immortals quite ahead, right? This is looking really bad for EnVy. Not only did they hang around and play it close, they caught up. They got into the lead. And although their end game decision did not work out, they were in the driver's seat going into this final fight with both buffs. They're inches away from taking this game, and so close in the first one as well. It's got to be heartbreaking for them to lose in that manner, but still, you know, there's a lot of positives to be taken away here from EnVy. People talked a lot about strength of schedule, but they looked good. And for Immortals, another day, another win.
Another day, another win.